The South African government in 2011 admitted that 70% of schools were dysfunctional. Discipline is a major problem. Add to this skills shortage, unemployment, and the worldwide economic downturn, and you have a crisis looming. Now, in 2012, Lusa Community Chest and the Kairos Project came together to create innovative solutions that resulted in the development of Generation ET, a holistic and multi-level approach to transform schools in our country. Since its inception a year ago, Generation ET has raised nearly 4 million rand, trained over 500 teachers, 30 principals, and around 5,000 learners. To tell us more, we have Dr. Ivo Zwane, the General Manager of Public Affairs at Sasol. Good morning. It's good to have you with us.
Good morning.
Those are impressive numbers already. How does this concept, Generation ET, come about?
Well, as you understand, we do have a challenge with the youth in our country. We have a huge youth bulge. And not only that, we also have an uncomfortable level of youth unemployment. We have an uncomfortable amount of out-of-school youth. And this raises quite a number of socio-economic problems for the country today and looking into the future. So what Generation ET seeks to do is to actually capture them whilst they are still learners, whilst they are still young, and inculcate a value system into the learners. It works through schools, and inculcate this value system into the learners, and added to that is to also make sure that we enhance the life skills and provide some basic leadership development to the learners. You're looking at 12 to 15-year-olds. Yeah?
Right.
So it's a values thing to change the attitude, to change the way they look at themselves, and also to change the way they look at what they do when they go to school, how they interact. You should remember, on the news every time, we always read something terrible happening at our schools, especially relating to discipline. And sometimes we may blame the children, but actually, if you look deeper, you find that there's a cultural dysfunction, and as well as the values that actually make the person. There's something lacking there that makes them not to understand the value of what is happening when they are at school, which is why we're running Generation ET at schools. So this is where the focus is.
Now, Dr. Zwane, you've been involved as a company in math, science, and technology. What made you particularly interested in looking at this value-based approach to improving, I guess, the results of our kids at school?
Well, at the end of the day, you can put a lot of resources into creating scientists and mathematicians and engineers, but to actually get them, you have to make sure that the foundation is correct. Because if children drop out at the rate that is happening when you're looking at from grade R all the way to grade 12, you're not going to have much coming out as an output. So we suddenly realized that unless we look at the foundation phase, we are now making sure that we've got a better output at the end of the day. So this is the whole reason. And there's lots of things that are being looked at, but one of the fundamental things that there doesn't seem to be too much focus on is looking at the attitude and the value system and making sure that we enhance it. There's another problem that we're actually facing as a country. We've got quite a number of child-headed families. Right. We also have quite a number of children who are being brought up by grandparents. So you've got a generation gap. As well, you've got quite a number of homes where the father is absent, absolutely without the father. So in terms of building the person whilst they're still malleable and young, we are lacking that. So parenting skills are becoming quite a big issue going forward. And with that comes now the impact on the value system of the learners that end up at school. It's not their fault. It's an environmental situation. And unless we impact that, we are not going to be having the right type of students at the end of the day who are able to focus on the right things and build the country and become role models. So try and build role models within them so they look at one another, seeing how well each of them carry themselves. And then you pull that through learning, you pull that through into academia to the other end, then you've got a better foundation.
Now, you've impacted 5,000 learners, but more importantly, you're also touching on the teachers themselves. What's important to train the teachers, and what has the impact been so far?
The program runs at schools, and teachers are fundamental to making sure that it works. The learners must see the teachers being the leader actually creating sort of also role models of teaching, which is something also that has deteriorated over the years. In our times, I mean, you dreamt of being the principal, of being the teacher.
Yeah.
And all of that has eroded over time. So we're trying to bring that back as well. So you put them into that leadership role to lead the vision of learning, to lead the vision for the school and impart it onto the kids. And then that's how you actually need to impact the teachers, because they are the primary leaders in Generation Ed. After all, they spend the most time with the children, more than the parents who work hard and come back late at night and wake up very early in the morning. They hardly ever see the children. So the teacher is now doing the parenting, in a sense, over and above the teaching that they need to do in terms of academic.
In terms of their performance, what is the change that you've seen?
We've just measured the attitude change, and we're seeing up to 30% change in attitude towards how they feel about themselves, their future, and how they feel about going to school and being at school and doing the right things, because this is what you want to impact.
Is this a continual commitment on your part on this project? And what are you hoping to see in the long run?
Well, we're hoping to see more and more children staying at schools. Remember, Generation Ed cannot on its own provide the end results of keeping children at schools. They need more resources than that. There are other programs that Sasol are involved in, peripheral programs, the projects that look at learning aids, for instance. You know, we are now in the audio-vis age where things need to be projected, and these weird boards now which are electronic and all of that. You need to have that. This is what children identify with. You can't give them a slate and a chalk anymore. You give them a tablet.
Yes.
Okay? So there's all these other very useful resources that are required to make sure that not only do you have the right mind for learning, but you are able to learn by using the right tools.
Nice chatting to you this morning. Much appreciated. Dr. Zwane, thank you for coming through.
Thank you.